Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to have videos of the paid requests, this time from Joseph. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Links are in the info box where it's at now, and it could be for any review, re-review, topic, reaction, commentary, video game let's try, playthrough, whatever. And this is actually a re-review, which is pretty cool. I mean, to me that's interesting to do because things could change, you'd have a different perspective, maybe you could showcase a better opinion of it in more detail than last time. And this case is Silent Trigger from 1996, starring Dolph Lundgren, which I'm a big Dolph fan. I Come in Peace, Showdown in Little Tokyo, Universal Soldier, The Punisher, Rocky 4, and many other films. And it's directed by Russell Mulcahy, guy who gave us Highlander, this underrated film called Razorback. And this is after he had done The Shadow, which The Shadow had not done that well. This is before Alec Baldwin shot people. But because that didn't do that well, his career didn't really... Like, he still continued to work. And, like, this film, I don't even know if it went straight to cable. Because I looked it up and it said, like, TV, and I'm like, I don't think this was a made-for-TV movie, but maybe it got made and it was only be released on cable. Because I could not find any info of this going into theaters, although it does look like a theatrical production. And I think that's one of the positives. It is a very good-looking movie. With the lighting and some of the camera work. There's definitely some style at hand here, which is one of the positives about the film. You also have Conrad Dunn in the film. He was Francis in Stripes. Saito, don't call me Francis. He was in Death Warrant. He was the cellmate of Jean-Claude Van Damme. And Van Damme's like, I don't pay, I don't punch. So Conrad Dunn, he would actually work with Dolph Lundgren again in a film called Direct Action, which I do enjoy that film. You also have Christopher Heyerdahl, who plays this druggy cokehead. There's not many people in the film. There's pretty much mainly 4 people you're dealing with. Dolph, this lady, and I forgot her name because I'm bad with names. And then these two. Which Conrad Dunn and Christopher Heyerdahl, they are guards for this unfinished skyscraper. Dolph is a sniper. The girl is a spotter. And they've gone to this spot up high, and again, this unfinished skyscraper to do this job. And pretty much a chunk of the film is them waiting while she is dealing with this cokehead guard that wants to stoop her brains out because he's a cokehead. And from time to time, we get these flashbacks that Dolph and her had a mission before where he couldn't shoot the target because there was a baby in front. Well, she was holding the baby, and they told her, shoot, shoot. And he's like, I can't. So whoever hired them is trying to take them out. And he did a couple action pieces throughout these flashbacks, which I would say is the reason these flashbacks are in. One, to establish that these two had a past, and I guess to try to put like a little lovey-dovey stuff in there later on in the movie, which I don't think works the best. I don't think it needed that. It could have just been their comrades. But also just to have some action, otherwise this would be a very boring movie. But I do like the film. I do like Silent Trigger. I think Joseph asked, would this be in my top 10 favorite Dolph Lundgren films? Maybe, but it would be lower on the list. Maybe it would. Because Silent Trigger is one of those movies that was always kind of weird to me. It has a different vibe compared to other Dolph films. Which you say is a good thing, and in a way it's a good thing. But I think even when I first saw it, it threw me off a bit. And maybe like deep down that little bit in my psyche still has that feeling no matter how much I try to throw it out. Because like I said, a lot of it is at this tower where they're just waiting for this mission to happen. And dealing with this guard who's a cokehead, it just seems like he should not be much of a threat. I mean, just a redneck, gangly cokehead that Dolph could beat in 3 seconds. So when you have this action piece where this fight happens, I'm like, okay, it's an enjoyable scene. But the back of my head going, come on, Dolph, you could take this guy out in 10 seconds. What's going on here? So when that's your threat for a good chunk of the movie, it just... Something about just... And the actor does a decent job. You buy him as this creepazoid, cokehead guy, but just something about just... It's... The director does what he can to keep it somewhat exciting. And like I said, Dolph, he plays a sniper. I don't think they really have names. Although for some reason Wikipedia they have names. I don't know where the hell those names came from because I didn't hear them in the movie. So if I missed them in the movie, I apologize. But on the Wikipedia, like, they have names. I'm like, I don't remember them having names in the movie. So forgive me for not hearing them in the movie. But again, you're not going to get a lot of development. And again, the few bits of backstory is again this mission that went awry. Again, when later on they have a little bit of a lovey-dovey stuff, it's hard for me to. I don't know if I buy it. The lady's beautiful. Her acting is there, but she's a beautiful lady. Dolph, he doesn't have a whole lot to say, but he definitely has that great stature, that great look and presence, and that definitely goes a long way. Because again, I've always been a fan of Dolph. Conrad Dunn, he's more of the seemingly nice, like, easygoing rookie security guard. While again, the other guy is more the asshole redneck cokehead. But I do like the film, despite the stuff I'm saying. I mentioned the style of the film. Again, the way it's shot, the inside of the tower. It's... I don't want to say it's neon lights, but it's this... The way it's lit in an interesting way that gives it a bit of an atmospheric mood to it. And the way the director has these shots where, like, Dolph's looking out the window and the camera pulls back to see the whole skyscraper. Or shots where Dolph sets this bomb as a backup security measure on this elevator. And these nice wide shots of Dolph hanging on the elevator and they try to get some tension in there. And the way that the camera will move with characters. And also it could be a violent film. And they don't hold back on that, which is nice to see too. So while it's not wall-to-wall action, and maybe that's what I was thinking. I was thinking of like other Dolph films like The Punisher, Showdown Low Tokyo. So when Universal Soldier, which is right before this film, like these movies I'm talking about. So when I see Silent Trigger, I'm expecting that level of action. It's not. So maybe there's a bit of disappointment when I first saw it. But when it's there, it definitely hits hard. Like in the flashback, the people who hired him are attacking the tower Dolph is in. He uses a sniper rifle and he shoots people in the head. You see these big blood splats, shooting them in the eye, and you see it, nice squibs there. Later on, when people are going after them, at the end of the film, Dolph takes a sniper and blows a big old hole out the back of this one guy, or shoots the hell out of someone. It goes up their knees and stuff. So it's not a whole lot, but when it happens, it's definitely effective. And it's practical blood squibs, and they don't hold back on it, so I appreciate that. Like I said, the elevators, the building shots, it's like the director went, okay, I know a lot of this is going to take place in one building. I have to shoot the hell out of this so the audience won't be bored. And again, it does showcase Russell Mulcahy to have a good eye, like he did in Razorback and the first Highlander, even the second one, which I liked. And again, the lighting is like this at times like a neon yellow, or I don't know how to put it. And this is definitely a film that if you could get this on, like, watch it HD, Blu-ray, which I think it was on Blu-ray overseas, so you may be able to find a copy online to watch HD. It's definitely worth the look because you just see how really good looking of a movie. I don't think the DVD does it justice. If you're able to see this online, HD, streaming, or Blu-ray, like, it's definitely worth it because easily the best way to see the film. Because that's definitely a big positive about the movie. Or even like there's another flashback where when they're on the run, the sniper and the spotter, at one point they're going through this market as if it's children of men, and like there's explosions and stuff behind them, and maybe they're explosions, but there's definitely a ruckus behind them. And it's like this nice tracking shot, done like pretty much all in one take. At least that tracking shot when they're running through this crowded market. There's a bit where they're driving and Dolph tells her not to stop, but these people kill these innocent people. Dolph kills them, or knife to the head, and shooting nice blood squibs there. So that stuff, I mean, definitely helps and have an action throughout, so it doesn't seem too boring to the viewer. Again, it's a very minimal story. Very minimal. And very, I don't want to say claustrophobic, isolated. Which again is why these flashbacks are in there. Because when you only, for the most part, have four people, but it's an action film, you're like, how's this going to work? But again, it's because, okay, here's this cokehead. He gets the surprise on Dolph, but then Dolph is able to kick him and tackle him and throw him somewhere. And oh, the cokehead has the girl, and Dolph has to jump on the elevator, but then he's all hanging off the elevator. And again, for what little the director had with few people in terms of a cast, he does what he can in shooting the hell out of the movie. And that's definitely a big positive on the film. Again, like the director knew that, okay, I don't have as much action compared to these other action films. I gotta make each moment work. Even when the mission is at hand and Dolph's like, you get that he doesn't want to do this anymore. But then there's another team, they snipe the hell out of the car, and the way the car's hit, and it flips over in slow motion. And then the bad guys come in, and I did Dolph's like under the grates and moving and shooting the hell out of someone. Again, well choreographed, easy to understand. Again, I like the setting, the environment definitely stands out. I think it's about, what, 4 operatives killed during that scene. And before that, Dolph's able to kill the 2 snipers across the way. Was, again, good. If you're not going to have a lot, then what little you have, you better do it well. And this did it well. So you know what? I mean, I probably would put this in my top 10. I didn't down on the list. Like I said, you don't get a lot about the characters. You don't really get a whole lot to their story. Like I said, there's not a whole lot. I mean, There's stuff happened in the first half, but not a whole lot happened in the first half. It's kind of, again, that weird thing where because of the flashbacks, it'll seem like there's a lot happening, and then that definitely helps the pacing of the film. But you're like, okay, no, it's just them sticking to a building, they deal with an asshole guard, and they're waiting. They're waiting and waiting and waiting. Cue a couple flashbacks. So again, it's one of those. Again, it's still that weird feeling I had when I first saw it. And spoilers. I mean, I did spoil, but Conrad Dunn, you find out, is working with the agency, and wounds Dolph. You think Dolph's dead. Him and the spotter are in a standstill. He takes the elevator. Dolph's bomb goes off. The one explosion is not the best looking explosion. You tell it's like stuff they did after. It's just there's like a much bigger explosion encasing the building, the inner workings of the building. It's not the best looking explosion, but I could deal with it. She leaves. Dolph shoots a fire hydrant. You realize Dolph is alive. They both walk away. End of story. And like I said, you didn't really get a whole lot of depth of the characters, especially the spotter lady. Other than falling for Dolph and his mini Dolph, that's, I guess, why she turns and she changes course. Like I said, you don't really get much else in terms of true deep character interaction. Humor, other than the cokehead die, have a couple like quirky moments of being a little bit over the top in a fun way. It's not a whole lot of humorous moments in the film. But at the same time, again, I keep repeating, like, it's a very well shot film. It's a good looking film. When the few bits of action is there, it works very well. Whether it be the sniping sequences or the little bit, the action in the third act. And like I said, it's definitely a different type of Dolph Lundgren film. It definitely stands out a bit, which I guess at the end of the day is a good thing. Hell, a lot more than, the 15 direct-to-video Steven Seagal films that all seem like the same damn movie. So that's why I appreciate this film in being at least somewhat different. And I think, if I want my action fix of Dolph, I could watch I Come in Peace. I could watch The Punisher. But I just maybe trying to be a little bit more contemplative, maybe is what they're going for. I'm not sure that's 100% successful, but again, a film that's a bit more of the mood because of the setting and the backdrop, with a couple of effective action pieces. And again, highest praise to Russell Mulcahy for the way he directed the film and the way the film's lit. It's definitely a great character unto itself. Like I said, Dolph doesn't have a lot to chew on as a character. Like I said, he doesn't even have a name. But again, good look, good presence. I did a little bit of fighting he has is against a cokehead guy that he beat in 5 seconds. So you don't get a lot of fisticuffs from Dolph. The few bits of shooting is mostly with a sniper rifle, but those are satisfying. As strange as this is going to sound, I love snipers in movies. I love sniping scenes in movies. So when he's taking down the helicopter, and I did later on when he takes some of the operatives down, it's definitely satisfying. Yeah. It's gory, it's blood splatter, yeah. That gun-ho gore glory I'm a sucker for. Like I said, not all the explosions are the best. When the helicopter crashes and Dolph jumps, first I'm like, how did he survive? Because it looked like he just jumped 4 feet. He just jumped off camera. But what the helicopter, it blows up the whole tower, so I don't know how he survived. Did he jump off and fall the 50 feet down? I'm guessing there's if they shot at least a bit where maybe he would crawl down or rappel down, but he just jumps off screen and then the helicopter hits the tower, it blows up, then it cuts. That's in a flashback. Then it cuts to modern, present time. I'm like, how did he survive? I guess supposed to infer, but it's like, it would have been nice to see like an extra shot or two. And again, the explosion doesn't look the best, but again, I think they did what they could with the budget. So I did let that go. But overall, I do like the film. What's funny, there's a guy on Facebook named Danny Stewart. He, I guess, wrote a book on the Rutger Hauer film, The Blood of Heroes, as in he got a couple interviews. I guess he's going to do one on Silent Trigger. And he couldn't get Dolph, but apparently he's getting an interview with the director, the composer, I think stuntman, the DP. So that'd be cool. I mean, I don't know when the guy's book is coming out. I know his name is Danny Stewart, but I look forward. I would read it just to hear Russell Mulcahy's thoughts, because I could not find a single interview where he talked about Silent Trigger. That'd be interesting, because it's a film in his filmography that's kind of forgotten, but it doesn't deserve to be forgotten. It's a pretty good film. It deserves a better Blu-ray in the U.S. I don't even know if it's on Blu-ray in the U.S. Now that I think about it, is this on Blu-ray in the U.S.? I know it is overseas. It was overseas, but I don't even know if this is on Blu-ray in the U.S. I'll look that up real quick. It might not be. If so, now this is from overseas. So yeah, it's mostly overseas stuff. The Blu-ray. If you're wondering why I'm pausing, because my phone's being slow. There's no data on it right now. It's going to be a day or two before it recharges. I wanted to see if there were any features on it. I think Fabio has his Blu-ray, the Italian stand video. I think he has this. And he mentioned there's an interview that was on a previous release. I think maybe with the writer of the film. But it didn't say on... Like, if you looked at the back, it didn't say, but if you actually play it, it is actually on there. I think it was a common interview with the writer. Yeah, it's a German Blu-ray. The Germans. Yeah. In the US, it's only on DVD. Which, I mean, this deserves a Blu-ray in the US. Come on now. There's a lot worse films on Blu-ray. This deserves a Blu-ray. Get Dolph for an interview. Get Russell Mulcahy for an interview. Why not? It's worth it. It's a good one. Come on now. Let's do it. What are we waiting for? Come on. Like Vendor Syndrome, like you're releasing... I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Billy Blanks, but Silent Traitor I think is better than some of those films you've been releasing for action films. Like, as much as I like Billy Blanks, like, come on. Silent Trigger? Come on now. But with that said, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.